On the tabletop today, I'll be talking about my plans to get started up with Gaslands. So I've had Gaslands for a while, and sadly for the most part, the rules have been sitting on my shelf, sort of collecting dust. I did pick up some Matchbox cars and played around with the game a little bit, but I really haven't got into doing any of the modeling yet. And I was sort of at a pickle somewhat, of how deep to get into modeling and, what I'd try doing. I thought about maybe making up some, scratch-built weapons and stuff. And it ended up breaking down. I don't have a 3D printer, so I had to sort of go out and see what I could buy. And so there's a nice store on Etsy that had quite a bit of variety of weapons and stuff. And I think they looked really good. So I ended up picking those up. And I'll leave the link to that store in the description. And so I ended up getting some Matchbox cars and putting those weapons on. And you can sort of see what I have here, lined up. I have to say, for the diversity of the stuff that you can get, it's nice. You can see these little ram plates here. I can sort of show that. It's got a bunch of rivets and stuff. It's got some good detail. And they've got, of course, these little armor plates that would go on the windshield and stuff. And you can see here, again, these rivets on that. A good amount of detail for these. I sort of really dig them. And some of the stuff is pretty crazy. You've got these ramming plates here. I've got this one here. I guess it has like a little buzzsaw. And these are just really cool. Of course, there's just tons and tons of guns, and some of these are pretty crazy. You've got like a turret, other things here. Some of the stuff here really looks like it would go on a hood of a car. It's got these little parts for an engine here and for exhaust on the engine for that, or air intake. And I dig them. They're cool. They assemble pretty well. Just throwing some super glue on them. I've got some weapons that go on the side here for these. Of course, you can see a little bit of the engine block for this one. Of course, a big gun coming out of that. You got something simple like just a turret on a roof here. And for the most part, I don't know really what I'm going to do with these cars. I'm probably not going to do a proper Gaslands job for these. Because quite frankly, they've got some pretty cool paint jobs. Especially like, this one here. And I hate to say that I could get all sorts of stuff and, put a bunch of wire mesh and really get that grungy looking. But, I don't know, that looks pretty cool as it is. And that sort of stands out. And definitely, you've got some cars here. This brings performance race car here. I just sort of like the idea of something simple, just having a gun on there. So, these are definitely some stuff I'm going to be working on in the future and maybe get a little bit more content on the channel. I probably won't get into making videos for these and painting these up much because it'll pretty much be a primer paint job and then just something simple for that. But, I'll have some cars for sure. I'll definitely Gaslands up. I've been looking at this car here, and it's got a cool little flamethrower, and I'm thinking, yeah, for sure. I could probably get some armor plates on that and maybe get grunged up a little bit. And some of these might get a little bit more of a simple paint job. This is pretty cool here. I like it. And definitely I'm thinking getting some flames on that. That would look really good. I want to say too, for these cars that I found when I'm working with them, I put some super glue on the bottom of this here. And, these will help just lock up the wheels. And that's the way I sort of like it. So they don't roll around or anything like that. I've sort of adopted just some real basic terrain. So, for these gates, I've got these pieces of cardboard out here. And they end up putting down some tape and spray painting a couple different colors. Just to have something very simple, something functional. And, will just sort of look okay. And that's what I want to work with. And I've got these little pill bottles, and I put out some pieces of cardboard on that. I'll do the primer paint job in these and paint this up something simple. Maybe some different colors for these to show they're different gates. And so I might have that sort of set up for these, or if I want to get some more obstacles and barriers, I could do that. I'm thinking maybe even throw on a turret for some certain maps. I sort of have to play around with it and see. But for the most part, I'm excited to probably get these going and probably get a little bit more gaming in. I've got a lot on my bench. You can see I've got Doctor Strange here and a bunch of zombies. I've got a lot of different projects to do, but I think definitely some more to do. I'm looking forward to maybe stepping outside my comfort zone and some stuff and doing a little bit of Gaslands. And so you can probably expect a little bit more Gaslands content in the future. Right now, can't wait to get these painted up and get them on the tabletop.